Good morning, everybody. It's Lisa from Barclay Jones here. I hope you're well. And we also have the lovely eRecruit Adapt. We're going to talk to them very, very soon. But just to make sure that you all can hear my sultry tones on a Friday morning, can you all please go to your chat facility, test it, tell me, what are you going to be drinking at Pim's O'Clock this evening? Indeed, if you are wet this month, pop into your chat, just test it out and make sure it works. So I'm dry January. I'm actually doing a dry February as well, which I'm a bit kind of like, really? But I'm going to do it because I've also got a PT now and I need to sort myself out. Sauvignon Blanc. I'm actually going to get a list of all my favourite drinks now, aren't I? Really dry. I've just got loads of saliva in my mouth now. It's like a Pavlovian attack. Brilliant. Somebody's saying water. Ross, I'm going to join your club today.
Ross is keeping it healthy.
I've got a January. Yay, Lindsay, you're my kind of girl. Absolutely. Red wine, thank you, someone said. Rum, wow, hardcore, Lorraine. Right. Oh, we're going to get there, though. We're going to get there. Disaronno, Ella, like it. Do you just have it neat with ice? Or is there not enough room in the glass for the ice? We're going to get going with the time, surely. Right. We know that your chat facility works. Definitely with Coke. Ella, don't do that to your Disaronno. What are you doing? It's just fatal. Luke, what's your drink going to be tonight?
My drink is, I'm on dry January.
Are you?
I'm cheating. I went 5 days, got a little bit of a telling off from my missus, and I'm kind of like stealth drinking at the minute.
Alan, what are you doing tonight when you crack up, or even at 2 o'clock this afternoon? Because you people at eRecruit really know how to roll. So what are you going to be popping a cork on?
Well, I am a cork avoidance for my whole life, Lisa. This is going to be hard to understand for a lot of people, but I've never been drunk. I've never had a drink. I'm teetotal, proper teetotal.
I'm loving this.
Just drunk on CRM.
Yeah, it's just literally.
I love a good CRM.
I love a good
with Coke and ice.
I love it. We ran a webinar on Monday afternoon, everybody, and it was all about Google for Jobs, but it wasn't about Google for Jobs. It was actually about recruiters attracting passive candidates, not rabid candidates. So if any of you want access to the webinar on Google for Jobs and or you're looking to improve the types of people that apply for your jobs this year, can you put the word adverts into your chat facility and we'll send you the webinar. We don't spam. We just send really cool stuff to recruiters that want to do better, because clearly we make recruiters more successful at Barclay Jones. Today, though, we're focused very much on Smackdown, hacks, whatever you want to call it, whatever the cool word is for this year. And I'm delighted that a company that we've worked with for a very long time, I started using Adapt in 2000. Luke, you've been using it for 8 years, 9 years, 10 years?
Oh, 9 years, about 9, 10 years.
Alan, come on, can you smack us down on the amount of time we've all been spending on Adapt?
I can't, but I'm on for just over 4 years. I didn't get to use it as a recruiter. I was a recruiter, but I didn't get to use it as a recruiter. But now, every day, I'm eating it every day, drinking it, smelling it.
That's why you're not drinking. You ain't got time.
That's why I haven't got time for that. I'm in Adapt.
Absolutely.
But you can find me Saturday night at a local bar with my laptop, just showing people how great.
Tell us where, and we'll all be there. Yeah, free training.
Everybody needs a BD studio on Saturday night.
I think so. What's absolutely hysterical is we've got a load of people saying adverts, and then right in the middle of it, Kirsty's put Prosecco. Well, we know your priorities, Kirsty, don't we? Amanda, do me a favour. You've not put adverts. Do me a favour, because I'm going to do a quick search and find for the word adverts at the end of this webinar. Just chuck the word adverts in, because that'll make my life a bit easier. It's all about making the Joneses' life a bit easier. You are fabulous. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, so let's move on. We've had a bit of a tittle-tattle. Everybody can use the system, which is half the battle. All the gear, no idea. Too many systems, not enough process. All the usual stuff you'll hear the Jones say. So we've obviously got Luke. We've obviously got Alan. I'm going to let them just introduce themselves for like 20, 30 seconds just to pitch, because the idea is actually you lovely people listening to this webinar or watching it in a non-live environment instead of Game of Thrones. Need to choose a winner today. This isn't just let's bore you to tears with Adapt, because actually systems ain't boring if you're Lynham, Jones and Tucker. God, that sounds like a sitcom.
That is good.
Systems are very exciting if you can make money from them. If you're not making money from them, then no wonder you're bored. but welcome to our world. So Lynham, introduce yourself.
So contestant number 1, Luke Lynham, all-round trainer representing the North today. So I've been coming up to a couple of years at Barclay Jones, previous life, recruiter, in-house trainer, and data freak, I would say sums me up.
Data freak, yeah. Lovely, that's of it.
Lovely.
Not dating a freak.
Not dating a freak, no.
Yeah, we don't want to hear that. Alan, come on then.
All right, hey, I'm representing the South, then it clearly seems that, so I'm going to go London on you. I like that. But no, I have been a recruiter as well in many different industries. I have worked in-house recruitment, also worked as a trainer as well. So very similar to Luke. So this is going to be interesting about how we feel, what might be useful. Come on up north, let's see what you got.
Right, well, the thing is, I'm a kind of North Londoner, so I'm kind of in the middle, bridging the gap, but I'm equally not going to be in the middle of the wrestling ring with a bikini on and a big sign saying round 2. Because anyone that's met me knows that ain't my style. Although, to be fair, my PT might tell me otherwise in 8 weeks.
Wow.
I think that's very unlikely. Like that. Yeah. That's very unlikely. Right, we're clearly here to pitch Barclay Jones. You might have seen the lovely triangle. We do everything in 3s here. That sounds a bit rude. Recruiter success training. If you've got recruiters in your business and you want them to be more successful, and I'm not talking about doing more admin, spending more time in the office. I'm talking about making more money, attracting the right candidates we can help. Technology is a big deal for us. The 2 founders, Barclay and Jones, imaginatively named their business Barclay Jones, ex-IT directors in some distinct, I think is how I put it, recruitment firms, have implemented Adapt till the cows come home, and other systems exist. And one of the things that Lisa Jones does on a daily basis is coach and train fantastic digital recruiters or digital marketeers to help their recruiters recruit more effectively, ultimately making more money. And in all of that, AppsCo voted us the winner last year. Well, it's sort of like we got the award last year for the year before for being the best supplier. So clearly I have to say that, otherwise my marketeer literally comes in and gives me one hell of a Paddington Bear stare. And we've won awards for content and stuff like that. The thing that Barclay Jones is fixated on and it used to be the 3 C's, and then I kind of messed up my triangle and turned it into a bit of a square. Because we've got 4 now: candidates, clients, colleagues, and cash. And the thing that Luke and I are fixated on when we go on site to talk to recruiters and their leaders and their marketeers are, if whatever you do throughout the day isn't aimed at attracting, engaging, converting, and retaining either a candidate, client, or colleague, what are you doing? Because if you're not doing those things, you're not going to make any money. You're not going to be profitable. And the idea of a recruitment firm is you've got to be profitable. You've got to decrease your cost of hire, increase your speed of placement, improve the morale of your business, make sure that your marketeer is adding value. So we're very fixated on that. And today is all about that. So today we're looking at hacks, adapt hacks for more candidates, more clients, and more colleagues. The idea being that you haven't got time to spend all day on this, but you do need to make adapt first on your list of places to source from, to retain from, to convert from. We are obliterated in the market with too many systems. And I say that as a systems bod. And maybe Alan and Luke, over the years, when they've gone into businesses, have also spotted recruiters surrounded by too many screens, too many phones, too many systems, and then ultimately not enough process. And Alan and Luke are going to basically sort this out today. So I want you to pop into your chat panel, and I want you to tell me, not who are you, we know your names. What kind of jobs do you do? And tell me, for 2019, if you could achieve anything this year, what would it be? If we were having a coffee in a year's time and you said, Lisa, I cracked ABC, what would that be? Quickly pop into your chat panel. We're not necessarily going to share all of this online, but I'm just interested to make sure that we nail the time that you're spending with us today. So someone here has got passive talent attraction, more effective clients, better payers, all of that lovely stuff. What else have we got coming through? Finding more, and I'm not going to use the job title just in case we've got competitors on the phone, but finding more of the right candidates. So thank you, Christine. Permanent recruitment to smash budget out the park. That's a tick box on a CRM if ever there was one. Adapt, get on it. Someone said, is this the chat panel? I'm on a new mobile. Matt? Yeah, it is. Hi, Matt, by the way. More clients, education temp candidates achieve 120% of target. Bring it on. Win more clients. Look, we're in a £35 billion market just in the UK. We beat beauty, fashion, cars. We are in a market which rocks and rolls. We need, therefore, goals which do the same thing. We need systems and processes that help us achieve that. And I don't know about Alan and Luke, but when I go on site, I often find, and have often found, that the system is not at the centre because it kind of feels like it gets in the way. Luke, what's your experience of that?
Yeah, absolutely. A massive range of people out there, massive range of clients that are at a different stage in their tech journey and their process journey. But ultimately, I think a lot of people buy the technology and then don't really focus on the process to get the most out of that technology. Obviously, training is a huge part of that, fully understanding how the system works and how they can take advantage. So I think for me, process and data seem to be two big things at the moment that need a bit more focus.
Alan, what themes do you tend to see when you go and work with recruiters?
Yeah, I mean, similar to Luke, but mine is, again, using the system that you have as the centerpiece and working about how that's going to work for you rather than thinking, oh, I've just got to put stuff in there. You know, obviously we're looking at Adapt today, and what Adapt can do is actually do the thing for you and do all your recording admin rather than you writing it down and then transferring it in later. You know, it's all about engaging with it and, you know, making it your first point of thing to go to when, you know, you get a call in. First thing, find the candidate or find the contact on the system. You've got loads more information in front of you. And it's just like Luke's saying there, just, you know, engaging with it and thinking, you know, how can I do this on the system?
Absolutely. And I think the key for this is, a couple of years ago, we did a quick ready reckon of our existing Adapt clients. Because obviously, let's not forget both eRecruit and Barclay Jones. We are partners and we work with similar clients across UK and beyond, getting recruiters using Adapt to make money. Ultimately, that's our goal. But we coined a phrase a couple of years ago called AdaptFirst or CRM first, where we just said, look, if we're spending all this money on the system, and it should be at the heart of our systems, and GDPR is telling us that our data is a really important asset, then we need to treat it with respect. Now, that's a really big statement to make. And ultimately, though, what tends to happen is we make these massive statements, but what we don't do is tell the recruiter specifically what good looks like. That's what today is all about. Would you believe, everybody, Alan, sit back in your chair and try not to be shocked by the fact that 2/3 of people who left their jobs last year had not had enough training, and that's their reason for quitting. Crap stat. It's not something we want to take to market. It's not recruitment specific, by the way. This is just an independent, as in with a capital I, the independent study. That's a terrible reason for someone to leave a business. Them having 3 heads, them having issues with attitude, them not getting it or understanding their role or being able to deliver, having the capacity. That's a great reason to leave. Being untrained is not a reason to leave a job. That is a terrible way to run a business. And I say to all of my clients, if you're a 100-person business or a 50-person business and 10 people left, what would be the cost of not training? I.e., they leave. The cost of not training is the fact they're not billing for every day that they're not in the business. And more importantly, the cost of replacing them. And then the cost of training them up takes 3 to 6 months, which is the average time it takes for a recruiter to start billing and paying their own salaries. Not good. We also know, because we're training specialists, that between only 10 to 30% of what you learn on a training course, a standard training course, is actually transferred into your workflow. So those of you who have been on standard training courses, your max you're going to retain from that course is 30%, and then you're going to go back to your desk and you've got to ask yourself, where's the other 70% coming from? Now, Barclay Jones is developing a product called HIT, and if you're into your fitness, high intensity interval training, you'll know the point is short, sharp bursts of intense, energetic exercise which sustain you for the rest of the day. And that's the model that we're building into our training. If you want to know more about that, just put HIT, H-I-I-T, into your chat facility, and I'll fire some information out at you just to keep you posted. But we are really focused in 2019 on reducing that 2 out of 3 in the recruitment industry, of reducing the cost of hire for our clients, of increasing the speed at which recruiters bill, and ultimately making sure that systems like Adapt have a job spec and it fulfills on that job spec and it's a respected system. Because what we want to do is take the data, as Alan rightly said before, that we are grabbing from all of these third-party, invisible, uncontrolled systems like LinkedIn, job boards, etc., putting it onto Adapt, it having a purpose, and then crazy things like the marketers getting their paws on it and generating leads for you, because that's the bit that I tend to work on. But often when I go into businesses, the data on the system is not capable of turning into money. And I think it's not even a shame. It's just a tragedy more than anything. So we're going to have this Smackdown. We're going to talk about the cheese man and the tuck man. I've been doing my research, people. And I obviously want you to choose who you want to be. I mean, Alan, I kind of see you as the guy in the top left. Which is
I thought I was the girl in the little tartan skirt there.
Or maybe, is that you, Alan, strangling Luke? I don't know. There's kind of a lot and a lot of teeth going on there.
I've great admiration and respect for Luke, and there's no way that I would do that to him.
Well, he's kind of doing that to you right now, but you can't see him because he's like got you in a kind of like a vertical headlock. But anyway, so we're having this Smackdown. Okay. The idea, ladies and gentlemen, is these two lovely gentlemen, these two Adapt gurus, are going to pitch to you 2 ideas for how to use Adapt more effectively today. They've been coached to not waste my time because I'm the lady in the middle. It's going to get very bossy and very bored. If it's not right, the klaxon might go. But ultimately, you get to choose throughout which you're going to use more effectively in your business. So you need to make some notes. You are going to be asked at the end of this session what you're going to choose. You're going to be asked to make a decision that if you could only keep one, what would it be? Now, obviously, that's never going to happen, but we obviously want some feedback on this. But what I want to do to start off with is just ask you a little question. What do you currently use out of the things that you can see in the poll that's opening up to you right now? Grab your mice. Click you up. You can basically click on any of the options that you use. If it's only one, click on one. If it's all 4, click on all 4 of them. But we just want to take a bit of a temperature as to what you lovely people are using, according to what our Adapt gurus think are the things that they want to basically smack each other down with. Beautiful, interesting. Okay, I'm closing the poll, so I'm very sorry if you're being a bit slow. Maybe you need to put that Disaronno down. I'm just going to share the data there. Have a quick look. Lovely. So interesting. But interestingly, not all of you are using one thing. So that's interesting data. Feel a blog coming on. Right, thanks, everybody. Okay. Alan. So are you, just talk us through AOA, talk us through what it is, and then obviously you're going to do a demo with us.
Well, AOA, we all have an acronym, don't we? So AOA is an Adapt Outlook add-in. So it's something that links Adapt to Outlook and vice versa. What I'm going to show you is from your Outlook. Now, I know this is what we've been saying is get on Adapt, get on your CRM, but we understand the reality of things here, and weaning yourself away from the Outlook and the Excel, we can help with that. And that's what AOA does. It can give you an ability to view some information from Outlook in Adapt, run some of those lovely actions that we have in there. And one thing that I really like is being able to pick up an attachment from that email and save it into someone's document library on Adapt. So that is what I'm going to be going through.
Okay, Alan, I'm going to make you the presenter. Get yourself ready.
I am ready. So I hope that you can all see my screen. A little adapted screen. Obviously, I have tons of emails that go in there all the time, so no problem at all with just this snapshot of them. And now AOA, little box over here on the right-hand side. And, you know, on that poll, you know, I came last, 4th and 3rd out of those 4. But you know what? That gives me an opportunity to have more impact on those people that don't use these things. So first of all, as you can see here, I have got an email in from Dan, or slightly changed, Den Bush. And you can see here that it's picked up or recognized his email address and given me a little snapshot of what's in Adapt. So I can see that they're an HR advisor. I can also see the consultant owning them, when they were created, when they were even last contacted, which is great. Other things I can see here as well are any notes on that person, so I can get a little feel for what's happening there. That's picking that up from the general notes within the contact record. I can also see any open jobs that I've got with that person. So if they're responding to me re a certain job, I can then quickly go, okay, let me just have a look at that. And as you'll notice here, I've got some options to view those jobs within Adapt. Click and it will take you there. A little bit like Dorothy in it, Wizard of Oz or something. She clicks and she goes somewhere. I need to brush up on that film. I've also got journal notes here, so I can see the latest things that are happening. Oh, I've filled a job with them. I've left messages. I've sent CVs over to them, so I can see all of those things. So that's great to see information because it can help you to, when you do call them, which you can log from our little box here and our little action rundown. You know more information about why you're calling them. It's all there, and of course you can hit log a phone call there. It will take you to Adapt. Open up that log a phone call box and you're able to log the call that you've got there too. Other things I can do, obviously text. I can send out terms of business if I wish to. If they've asked for a job, I can immediately respond and attach those terms of business. Even arranging a visit. They may have replied to my email of trying to get in there and saying, when can I come and see you? They may reply date and time, and I can actually arrange the visit from here. You'll also notice that I can add all of those different types of job onto the system as well based on their email. Other things I can do, I can literally go to that person's record and Adapt from here. I can also tag this selected email. Now, some of you will know that emails can be tagged automatically from Adapt. So when you start the process from Adapt and send an email out, it's automatically tagged. But then when you've got emails coming in and then you replying to those responses, how does that tag then? Well, you've got the option to manually do it from here, or in your little Adapt menu at the top and in the settings, you can choose per each user the rules of that. So when receiving emails, you could have that automatically tag back to that record, or you could choose to have a little prompt pop up to tell you, yeah, what do you want to do with this? Do you want to tag this or not? If you're talking about cakes or perhaps even the Pim's o'clock, whatever's on there, then of course you can choose whether you want to tag that or not. And of course, when sending emails, responding or part of a string of messages, you can automatically or prompt to tag from there. So lots of things that we can do. Also here as well, if you've been sent anything, and for instance, Den may have sent me something that I need to save on his record, the terms of business sign perhaps, I can just pick that up using that paperclip and then save it into the correct folder within that particular contact. So I can take loads of different actions with regards to that. Now that's one of my clients. Or what if I get something from a candidate? Well, let's see the options that we've got there. You can see the details about the candidate there and their current status. You can view their CV. You can see any notes that are written about them. What jobs they've been submitted for. They may be responding to a job spec that you've sent out. So you can look at journals, you can see what's been happening, and if they are responding to that job spec, you can shortlist the candidate from here to that particular job. You can also arrange internal interviews and obviously communicate with them as well. Don't forget about your opening the record and looking at the tagging option, as well as, this is a good one, if they're sending you a cert or sending you a copy of something you want, you can literally save that directly to their document library of the candidate. Now that's tasty. Talking of tasty, hashtag, let's have a look at this one. We've got the ability to search for them on Twitter. Very nice. And if that doesn't get you using AOA, come on, you got to look at yourself. Let's see what you got, Luke.
Tasty. Love it, Alan.
Talking of tasty, hashtag.
Hashtag fight back.
Hashtag Smackdown.
Hashtag Smackdown.
I'm literally hashtag legendary for my links.
So no, I absolutely love that one. I find a lot of my, I don't know about you, Alan, I find a lot of my clients, when I do go live training, they absolutely love AOA the first time they see it, and then I can revisit 3-6 months later. People just forget about it. Oh yeah, that's really good actually, and it's forming those real good habits.
Yeah, but Luke, you're having a wrestling match here. Stop stroking his hair.
False sense of security.
What are you doing?
False sense of security.
Respect.
Get a room.
It's a northern trick.
It's a northern trick. He's not going to see you coming, is he? So, Pete, end of round 1. We've got our polls in here. I want you to quickly grab your mouse, and I want you to tell me what you think about AOA. Grab your mouse. We're not going to share the results. We're going to keep them to ourselves for now because it's sweet at squirrels, but we need to get a wiggle on. Grab your mouse, please, and tell me whether or not you've already got it in the bag. Not convinced yet. You need to have a look at it. Awesome. It's going to make a real difference. Fill an infographic coming on if anyone from eRecruit's listening. Right, lovely. We're going to close this down because nobody in this room has got time to get the breath back. Got to crack on. Right, Luke, are you ready?
Ready.
Have you wiped yourself down a sweat?
Yes.
Got some water?
Yes.
Got yourself all oiled up?
No.
No?
Oh, shoelace.
Shoelaces. Yeah, get all your groupies off you. Sweep them away. They can get you later. So now Luke is going to talk about active searches.
So active searches is one of the big ones for me. It's one of those wow moments if I'm in a training room and I show people that Adapt has this facility and they don't realize that. It's normally straight away, I wish I'd have known about that a few weeks, a few months, a few years ago, and that would have saved me an awful lot of time. So the idea is you're taking lots of your precious time out of your day to build these searches and spend your time sourcing. We want Adapt to do some of the hard work. So we can automatically refresh some pre-built searches, and you can build these to suit how your data is currently coded up and logged on your system. Hopefully never miss those candidates, those new candidates that are coming along that maybe your colleagues uploading. Getting those straight into your search results to save rerunning the same search over and over. And obviously it really encourages you to code up your candidates well in the first instance to stop not only duplicating your searches, but get rid of those pesky spreadsheets where you can get a real, let's call it a hot list, a pool of candidates that you're always going to refer to. So I'm just going to pop in here and I'm in Adapt. Looking at my saved searches. Essentially, I've got 2 examples on here for you. Both are the identical criteria, and I'm going to pop in and show you that in a second. I ran them both this morning, first thing. One of them, the very top one called Administrator, across that top line, you can see that it isn't set as an active search. So this is very much a static search. I ran it first thing this morning, and I can revisit that search in a week, 2 weeks, 5 weeks, a year. The results will be exactly the same and accurate as of the date and time that I ran that search. The second search is a search that I did again at the same time, but I made it live. Since this morning, another administrator has come along, and therefore it has turned blue. And you can see that my results have gone up from 11 to 12. So by making this search active, and I'll show you how to do that in a second if you're not already aware, it's refreshing at a rate that I have indicated because I'm extra keen. And these administrators aren't easy to come along. They don't come by in my line of work. I've done it every 60 minutes. You can say do every so many hours. You can do it every day, every week, etc. So you do get to stipulate the relevant amount of time that you think is suitable for that to refresh. So essentially, I'm just going to talk you through the process step by step what I did. I'm going to come in here and launch a candidate search. The same principles apply for the other searches. Now, just bear that in mind. The popular ones are candidate search. And as always, when we're building these searches, I want you to think about really keep it consistent and key. Make sure that you're very data conscious with which field you're searching on. And there's no point in me searching on status if I'm not utilizing it at all and it has no process within my business. For me, it's massively key and one that I really focus on. I'm going to just mix it up with a postcode right down in the south. As a reminder, I've got my postcode tick, which means that it has recognized it and therefore will do a radius search of precisely 32 kilometers. And in my job category search, I have searched for administrator because that's the key that I'm looking for. So I'm just going to very quickly build this. I'll just move my panel out of the way. I'm just going to search for an administrator, move my panel back away, and then I'm going to run that search. So I've run that and there, before I have my 12 results. Nice and straightforward. As a reminder, when you're working with your search results, there's lots of configuration we can do on this screen. I'm just going to very quickly save it. Now, key thing to look out here, there's no batch button right at the top. Also, if we click on the options tag, we can see that there's very few options on there. So always a reminder, once you're happy with the criteria that you've searched on, I'm going to call this webinar Smackdown. I'm going to save it. Ooh, type up. And I'm going to click Save Results on here. So always important that now we know we've saved it, we've got multiple options in here. And the key option here is coming in to make active. Really, really simple. You've only got a couple of fields to fill in. The schedule period, at what interval do you want this search to refresh? I'm going to say day. And when do I want to make that active from? Well, I've run it today, so maybe do it from tomorrow onwards because I'm keen to get those applications over that people are working on Saturday. 1:45 in the morning, pick a time, absolutely fine. That's the date, that's the time that it's going to refresh, and my interval period I'm going to go with 1. So this is going to refresh starting from tomorrow morning at 1:45 every 1 day. I can click to be notified, yes or no, and I'm just going to click apply. Now what we see is we get an active notification just next to the title, and now when I pop back into my saved results, we can see that now the very top line is the one I just ran, and it is now active. The one that I ran this morning, it's turned blue. Now that's a real smart way of Adapt telling me you've got a new person added to the system or updated. I didn't add a new candidate, I just updated a code. And then when I come in here, I can see new people that have been added. In fact, we've got 2, amazing. Highlights them in blue. Of course, if you've got lots of results in here, you can filter on create a date. For example, if you want to get your new people right at the top, and that will just stack it in that exact order. So active searchers, think of it as a live and up-to-date hot list of candidates. You set the criteria, you manage how quickly you want it to refresh, and take advantage of that. Set up as many as you need and save yourself some time.
Right, lovely. Luke, lovely. So go and mop yourself down, please. Because clearly what we want to ask people to do is tell us what they think of active searches. Now, you've got to be honest with yourself, recruiters. We sometimes hear, and grab your little mice, people. We often hear, oh, the system's slow. And I'm not just talking about Adapt, I'm talking about IT generally within recruiters. System's slow, the data's no good, la 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 la. So again, what I'll say is sometimes it's a problem, dare I say, between the chair and the keyboard, a training issue. Dare I say maybe years of not looking after our data is causing us issues. Dare I say that we feel that we need to look after all of our data. I'm kind of not a fan of that theory. When we go in and do adapt discoveries and look at how people are using the system more effectively, we actually do say to them that what's absolutely key is that you adopt segments of the database and you work them to conclusion, which is kind of what we used to do in the old days before systems kind of took over. We used to have a very small 200, batch of clients and candidates. And then off we went and we worked them and we made lots of money and our fees were a lot higher. Now, I don't want to kind of go back in time because I don't think I looked that good in the early 2000s in comparison. The fashion was a bit different then. Yeah. But I would say that the days are here where tech doesn't need to take over, it needs to be driven. Lewis Hamilton doesn't drive a Google car. He drives a Ferrari, a really decent car on the track. But he does it, might be clever, but he uses it. So what we've got here is actually quite interesting. Over 50% of you are really going to hit. So even when we ask you at the end of the session, ladies and gentlemen, what your favourite is, I'm kind of going to look at the data and see whether or not you're telling us the truth. Because so far, one of you's the winner, but I'm not going to tell you who. Right, lovely. Alan, you're on the edge of your seat, I can tell. Right, so Alan.
Oh, no.
Over to you, my dear. We've got to obviously talk about one particular thing called Sales/BD Studio.
Exactly. Well, straight to your point, really, Lisa, about making money. If the data is good in your system and you work your data, then you can make money, and you can do that by using your system. And I've prepared a little something to one of my favourite things, the studios, iHeart Studios. Easily access key business development information, so who you're going to be calling, outstanding jobs, all of those different things that you've got. seeing who you've tried to call and you've scheduled another call with, or you want to keep knocking on that door every time at the same time each week. And again, as it says here, keep track of those leads that you bring onto the system, and by using the system you can see your wins and maybe where you've missed out. So yeah, I'm going to do that.
Lovely. So I'm just going to stick the screen over to you, Alan. So get ready for your Adapt.
And there it is. Thank you, Luke.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, and now immediately, the impact that you see is beautiful colours, Alan. I've chosen them myself. You can't help but change and put these colours in there. It's just here, change colours in your studios to make things look brighter and seem brighter and motivate you and make your brain happier. Because you can also use various colours through the system that we've got as well. So my Creator Studio covers all the contacts on the system that are in my name. The callback, so a list of all the calls that I'm going to be ringing people back to follow up on leads. I've also got 3 little widgets here looking at my lead contract jobs, lead perm jobs, and lead temp jobs. And at the bottom, I've got a kind of consolidatory view of where I can see where the activity has gone. So here, talking about marketing and generating leads, we can go look at my contacts. So who's against my name and who have I spoken to? Now I've got this sorted in client order. So you can see A's, B's, and C's all through there. And what you can also see is some very attractive color coding. Now these relate to when I've last contacted these people. Now that can be activated or updated by logging a phone call or sending an email. So we can see here I've got some where there's no color. So I've spoken to those people within the last 7 days. Anyone who's green, that's between 7 and 14 days. Any ambers or oranges out there, that's between 14 and 28. And as you can see here, the red is they've never been contacted according to the system, or it's more than 28 days since they've been contacted. So here I can also see my active clients and my lead clients as well. Now, active just means that we've got a job on the system for them. Lead means there isn't. So that's an auto change of status when you use that. And from here, I can, perhaps if I was going to give Frank a call, I can see, however, that I have spoken to his colleague Michelle within the last 7 days. So perhaps I don't need to speak to him, but I could find perhaps another company, FS Medical, that I've never spoken to or isn't logged here, and I can log a phone call or send an email from here. A great way of firing out those initial contacts. Of course, I can click on the person's name to go to their record and see more information about them before I ring them. So it's all interactive, all on that one screen. Then I've got my callback. So if I do call someone and they say, I can't talk right now, can you give me a ring Friday? Or look, I've got no requirements or anything now. They might say, but I've got a project coming up at mid-January, maybe give me a call then. Those things are, vital information for recruiters, and getting them on the system and then logging a call that you've made on there. So to get callbacks in here, all you have to do is when you log a phone call, the first time around, you just need to fill in this set alarm and plot a next call date and next call time. And then, of course, type your notes in about what happened. Because then when you do come to call them, you not only have the agreed time and dates that you've said and their phone numbers, you've also got access to the notes that you've got there. So I called, the offices were closed, possible staff available when I've got them. I can look at when I've spoke to Mike. So before you do that, you can look in there. Of course, you can go to the person or the clients to get more information. And once you've called them, this using log a phone call will not only log the call that you've made, but also plot the next call. You've then got the complete task once you've done that, so you can delete the old one that's there. So it's a great way of using those. Then, of course, you've got the options to be adding in lead jobs. And within here, you've got access to log a phone call, send an email. You've also got access to be able to action that, maybe allocate it to another consultant. convert that lead to an actual job. Shortlist candidates, send CVs on spec. You've also got the close job if you do lose that particular one that you've seen. But the important thing here is to get that lead on the system as soon as you know about it. It gives you that power of knowledge. Here as well, you can see that I've graded some of my leads, which ones are most likely to pull off perhaps. So all of this information is there in front of you in one screen, and you're able to take action on it. And of course, with all that action, these all update automatically. And of course, at the end of all that, you can then see how you're doing. And I've got my bottom performance studio here, so that I can see how many leads I have got in and how many I have recorded as well. So all of those things there, you can see just by doing that, contacting, calling, marketing, generating sales, generating leads, and then being able to see how those are being converted. So, Luke, this is going back to you again. Let's see what you've got on the last one.
Alan, I'm supposed to be impartial, actually, aren't I? I was about to fight your corner. I can't do that. So I'm going to be very impartial.
No tagging.
Evidently, all I'm supposed to be doing here is the Dolly Bird, is opening up the poll, because we clearly need to ask people, come on, guys and gals, what are you doing? Are you have you already got this in the bag? Maybe you need to have a look at it in a bit more detail, or it's going to make a real difference to you. Can you grab your mice, have your say? Ooh. Do you know what? It's never been this exciting in the business,
This is exciting.
We have two whippets, right? We have two whippets. If you look at our Instagram, everybody, Barclay Jones on Instagram, you'll see whippets, Solo and Leia, get the reference. When they get excited, it's nothing in comparison to how Luke and I are feeling right now.
This is exciting.
My heart rate, 20 to 30.
I'm excited too. I love it.
Lovely.
I got excited when he mentioned leads, and in my mind I went, leads.
Yeah, but no leads.
No. Yeah. I'm talking about lead, not leads.
Great city.
Right.
Terrible football team. Sorry to.
Right, thank you, everybody. That's fantastic. Right, so what we need to do now is give the con back to the cheese man, Lynham. Off you go, sir.
Lovely. Talking of cheese, this is a brilliant feature of Adapt, eh? And what we've got here
That's not a Gouda one.
Wow, and it started. This is far from a rap battle, isn't it? This is like the most sophisticated Smackdown.
I think you two need to get into Lycra, and off you go.
So this is, again, another feature that I like delivering to clients when I'm out on the road face to face, and it's just showing you a couple of shortcut buttons through the studios, which you may or may not be using at the moment. There are different ways that you can track your open job activity, and we want you to be able to manage these with ease, be able to see your desk in a snapshot, reviewing your recruitment process nice and quickly, and obviously allowing you to never forget to chase up those critical CV sends and interviews. So I'm just going to pop back into my Adapt over here, and I see Alan's colours, and I've gone quite opposite ends of this spectrum. I think he's more of a pastel colour. They must have sort of bright.
Do you think it might be overcompensating?
I think he might. So what I've got here is I've created my own studio. I've creatively called it My Desk. And call it whatever you like. And the first studio I just want to touch on is the My Job Studio. Now, please do bear in mind that you've got these key filters up at the top, ensuring that you are filtered on last contacted since the last update to all to ensure your jobs have come through, if you feel that you're missing any. Now, what we also have on here is obviously multiple filters. So I'm currently looking to split desk at the moment. You can be really creative just by looking at your own jobs, or if you're working in teams, the whole team. Now, these are the jobs. So from my point of view, if I want to save clicks and make my life really easy, this studio is landing me with quick access to all my jobs, the clients that those jobs sit with, and specifically those contacts. So I'm only ever one click away from Dennis Bush and Jess Laker, for example. As always, we've always got a little action button so we can log phone calls and make updates on there, and we've got some action buttons on here. The first one that I tend to point out, because it can save consultants an awful lot of time, is the close job action. So a lot of people historically pop into the job record and close it through the standard workflow way. This closed job is a personal favourite of mine because it saves me a little bit of time. Unfortunately, we have to do that on occasion. And that'll clear that off. And these studios are only as strong as closing down your old jobs, keeping the data fresh and up to date. We've got a similar colour code scheme going off in terms of days inactive. So we can see a couple of these jobs haven't had any activity from sort of up to 25 days. So you've got the same colour coding scheme. But the key thing I want to show you on here is this little plus button down the left-hand side. So let me just pick one on here. I'll just potentially click on the Office Assistant. Now, if I click the little plus sign, that gives me a snapshot of the progress against that job. And I can see which candidates we've had at shortlist stage and at CV sent stage, which is great. It saves me clicking in. I can obviously run certain actions by logging phone calls to Aaron Fenton, Denise James or Ashley, etc., etc. Obviously, I've got my email and text options, which is awesome. Now, a real big one for me, and this is, I had a guy nearly fall off his chair when I showed him this. Literally. I think he sent for help. Somebody help that gentleman.
Do you think, Luke, when we send you on site next, we need to get sent
paramedic.
Paramedic and seatbelts.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's fine.
We have an update button which will allow us to update that shortlist status and run the subsequent actions. So I can come in here and progress Aaron G. Fenton from shortlist to CV send, and the workflow is the same as it would be if I was doing it within the job record. I just complete the process as we all know how to do, I'm sure. I can do that for absolutely everybody, and please note on here I can reject from here offers, and I can also place. Actually, that's the key one. That's obviously when we're in business. So some real important little quick icons on there in terms of progressing workflow, and obviously by dropping this little plus button down, I can now have a one-click access to all the candidates that I'm openly actively working with at the moment. So the need for fast find, for example, is limited really for your new candidates, which is a lot easier for the John Smiths where you've got a few, and the tough to spell names, etc., which some of you will have come across, and there are obviously ways around that, but that's for another day. So that's the My Job Studio, and very briefly, that's the key bit. Very briefly, just going to point out, if you're not using these already, the candidate submittals is fantastic. That will give me a list of all the candidates. If rather than having to drop down, I just want to see all my candidates that are at CV send, and I've got interview stage here as well. I can then run those similar workflows from there as well. So I can do candidate submittals, absolutely brilliant. And what I can also do is do the same from a client interview point of view. So again, it's all set by ownership. Just hid my toolbar there because I thought I don't need to change that anymore. So remember, you can always do that. Again, remember the filters. So you've still got your action buttons for logging activity, and you've got further workflow buttons as well. A real good one on this, one of my favorite bits of functionality, is the client and candidate feedback, logging it as attended. Really being able to stamp that on the candidate record, so they come along 6 months later, we say, right, let's just run a quick journal filter and see all the feedback that this candidate's had. It's there in one place, and we can work well as a team. And then obviously I just quite like to keep an eye on my perm placements, so you can see what money you are making. And again, bear in mind there's lots of different metrics you can add. So please do, if you're new to these studios, please do play around with those filters and set them up. And that is my Managing Jobs Studio.
Fantastic. Right, well, you know the drill, everybody. Grab your mice. Tell us what you're going to use in terms of what do you think about My Open Jobs? Give us some information on this. Is it awesome? Are you going to check it out? Maybe because you're not quite sure yet. Maybe you've already got this nailed. Fantastic. Remember, these features that these two lovely wrestlers are showing you today are designed to get you home early. They're designed to allow you to drink more Disaronno. They're designed to get you to your PT session early. They're designed to get you to your kids quicker. Clearly, they're designed to make you more money. But all of these things can sometimes, make us feel a little bit like, oh, where do I start? Well, these two guys are saying start with these 4 things. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Right. Thank you for telling us what you think of those. Now, the final question I've got for you is you have to choose one. They're all lined up on the beach, and there's a big wave coming. It's a bit like desert island discs. There's a big wave coming. You have to choose one that you are going to absolutely, literally not even go on your lunch. Choose one and nail it today. Which one is it out of the 4 that you have had demoed? Is it Alan's AOA or Sales and BD Studio? Is it Luke's Active Searches or Managing My Open Jobs? Which is it? You can only choose one. What's it going to be?
Pressure.
The pressure.
That's harsh, isn't it? Because they're all good.
They're
all good.
Amazing. Interesting data coming through. Are we actually going to share this with people?
No matter who the winner is, I just want to say, Luke, it's been a pleasure to be in the ring with you.
I think it's trying to psych you out.
I've loved it.
It's great. I mean, it's good to spar with a man of such quality when it comes to Adapt. And,
right, well, I'm just going to... Right, so I want you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still listening, to imagine a wrestling ring, right? 4 corners. It's been a bit sweaty for the last 45 minutes. There's been round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4. And if I'm honest, it's been fairly even throughout from a data perspective. And I will be cracking the data open later on and actually looking at the true figures. But when it comes to the overall winner, I want you to imagine 2 men in very shiny, oily leather, probably patent leather. One of them's got a mask, the other one has a cape with wings. Right now, Luke is on the floor. I've got him pinned down in a chokehold. Twice, in fact, with both hands.
It's devastating. I think everybody on the webinar must be from the south.
I think I'm going to have to fire Luke, Alan. Do you want to come and work for me? Even I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Don't fire him. He's a great man. But, as I said before, I took the 2 lowest things and I've brought them to the top. So I had a greater opportunity. But, you still got to deliver, ain't you? Get in.
And yeah.
Oh, the southerner really comes out. Absolutely. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you today. Does anybody have any questions? We actually had some questions coming through. So we've not been ignoring you. We've just been kind of like waiting just to fly through this, because during a Smackdown, no one's got time to chat. Got to get on with it. Any questions there, Luke? Luke will read them out if he thinks that Alan can answer them. Anything in there?
So there's a few that's come through from Kerry. Hi, Kerry. I'll get back to you on those outside this webinar. That's they're real simple ones. Elizabeth, yeah, the colour coding is automatic. You don't have to manually log that. That was the colour coding on the studios. And that's automatically done. We can send you some information on the date ranges and the actions that trigger those colours. Christine's asking if she needs further help, who can she contact?
Clearly Barclay Jones, clearly eRecruit. Just put the word help within your chat facility, because we're all going to have access to that and we'll make a decision who the best person is. Is there any, if you do want any help, put help and just maybe put the specific thing you need help with and we'll get that tackled.
Yeah, and I can see Danny's just put through as well. We can send you very brief guidance on that. It's really easy to set up, Danny, so we can get that AOA set up for you.
Right, lovely.
Ooh, Lee's asked an interesting question.
When is the
Go on.
Alan, when is the Smackdown and what will it be on?
Oh, rematch.
Well, see, I knew you'd be calling for a rematch, Luke, and I should give you the opportunity, shouldn't I? I should give you the opportunity.
Are we saying today was a warm-up? Is that what we're saying? Are we saying that, don't throw your outfit out, Alan? Take it home, give it a bit of a rinse, get the wet wipes out, sponge yourself down, get ready. Lee, that's a great question, and we're flattered that you actually want to do it. Someone's asked, can we do it? I tell you what, everybody, I'm going to throw myself out there. If you want this to be regular, can you just put Smackdown in your chat facility, please? Whether or not we do it on Adapt or job adverts or anything to do with recruiter workflow, we get Alan back when he's recovered from his groupie session that he's probably going to have after this webinar.
You know.
But if you want a regular Smackdown, chuck it in, and Barclay Jones will make all of your dreams come true.
I'm going to get it over WhatsApp now, aren't I?
You're going to get it over WhatsApp.
The only winners today were the recruiters.
The only winners today were the recruiters.
Of course, I'd say
that. That's the biggest cheese ever.
That's the bitterness in me.
Brilliant. Okay. So someone's asked for any notes available at a later stage to refer to. Absolutely not. We're far too busy, Christine, but we're never too busy to launch the video onto our website in a couple of hours' time. So please keep a lookout. But obviously, if you do need help, just message us at Barclay Jones at eRecruit and we'll do whatever we can. Right then, everybody, thank you so much. Make sure we normally ask what you're going to do now, but we flipping well know what you're going to do now. You've written it down for us already. Don't forget, 2 out of 3 people who quit their jobs last year had not had enough training. That is costing the recruitment industry a flipping fortune from an internal attraction perspective. Great if you're a recruiter, though, and you need to replace all those people. That's great. And obviously, Barclay Jones are developing this HIT approach, high intensity interval training. So again, if you want more information about that, put HIT into your chat and we'll send you some through in the next couple of days. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming through to us today. Don't forget, Barclay Jones have a number of different resources. As to eRecruit, it's all about recruiter downloads, videos, newsletters, podcasts. Just dial onto the Barclay Jones website. It's flipping obvious what you need to do when you get there. Have a great weekend. Those of you that are drinking, enjoy. And those of you that are not, don't worry about it. It's nearly the end of January. It's just 2 weeks. Speak soon, everybody. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
See ya. See ya.
Bye-bye.